Oh, you well up when you hear him say that, don't you? I still well up when I hear that.
It's phenomenal. I'll tell you what, Nigel, we really need to remember these things. 83 years is a long time. But if we start to forget this, we have the possibility of repeating it, don't we?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And it was such an extraordinary achievement, probably stopped us being invaded. And I think you're right, that one of the things is to try and remember it. I live not so far away from Biggin Hill, and so on a daily basis, I have Spitfires flying over my house. They're taking people on pleasure trips. And every time you hear the engine, you kind of get
the roar of the Merlin.
Feel a real pride when you see the Spitfire in the air and think, God, that really is a beautiful aircraft. And so that's one of the ways of keeping it alive. Keep these things flying. Make sure that people can actually go up in them still. And that way you don't actually lose the memory of it.
Yeah.
I took my kids to the RAF Museum in Hendon a few weeks ago, and they absolutely loved it. I mean, they're very little children, but I swear, when they look at those machines, they're awed by it. They really are. And they are beautiful, incredible machines. And just learning about the history of it, it was a really good experience.
When you see that old black and white footage of a dogfight with lots of planes in the...
I mean, it's like mosquitoes.
Imagine how scary it must be.
Yes, but it was an existential battle. You know, it was defending the realm. Yeah. And so they were motivated to do it in ways that it's very difficult to imagine in peacetime.
Yeah.
And most of the pilots were so young.
Yeah, they were.
So scary. Meanwhile, I mean, we're looking back at that in the Mail today, saying a rogue Russian pilot tried to shoot down an RAF plane.
Yeah, and this happened back in September 22, but the details only just come out. And one or two of the papers are talking about, you know, we were seconds away from World War III. I'm not sure this is actually a huge exaggeration. Basically, what happened was that a Russian fighter came across one of our spy planes over the Black Sea, fired a couple of missiles. The second missile, fortunately, malfunctioned. But we had a crew of 30 on board, and had one of those missiles struck, we'd have lost that crew. And I think that that's one of the things about the Ukraine war we must remember. An accident like that, whether it was by design or whatever, apparently there's a question mark about whether the instructions, the orders given, actually the pilot rather over-interpreted them. But what it does show is that something could go wrong in Ukraine, and suddenly we're pitched into the sort of world war we've just been talking about there, and the whole thing happening by accident.
Yeah. Honestly, but that's like the First World War, isn't it? Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah, a small spark can just create this huge conflagration, and that's often how global conflicts go.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons why I think everyone was held back over Crimea back in 2014, it was the 100-year anniversary of the First World War, and in politicians' minds, they were thinking about how a small terrorist incident, or relatively small in Sarajevo, could escalate, and 37 days later, the entire world was at war.
Yeah.
I'll never understand how anyone allowed that to happen, really. It was all of these stupid treaties that had been drawn up and countries springing to the defence of other countries.
That's absolutely
right. But why didn't
right,
somebody somewhere say, hold on, chaps?
Because sometimes I think the people with the memory of the conflict, they all start dying.
Yeah.
And that memory of total war is lost, and a new generation enters into it.
I think we need a bit of common sense, joined-up thinking, all that sort of thing, which it's easy to say, but everyone gets lost in the moment, don't they?
But that's what I mean about the danger of Ukraine, that it's one thing that leads to another, and it's that kind of escalation that we must be...
That was a worry during the Cold War as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That one submarine just has to fire off a nuclear missile by accident or misunderstanding, and again, we were terrified during those years.
Yes, but it shows that the danger is still with us, and it's still happening now.
Yeah. Oh, well, on that cheery note, Nigel Nelson, Candice Holdsworth, we'll leave it there, but we'll see you both a little bit later on.